Welcome back to College Conversations. I'm Dr. Fedor, and I help you navigate college. Please remember to hit like, subscribe, and share this video with other students who also might find it helpful. Today, I have with me Adam Stemple, award-winning author and musician, here to talk about learning to learn. Thanks for joining me, Adam.
Hi, Janice. How are you doing today?
I'm well. The last
Excellent.
time we spoke, we were talking about how maybe learning doesn't come naturally to all of us, and this idea that we have to learn in some instances. And the more I was thinking about it, I thought, don't we all know how to learn already? Doesn't it come naturally, like breathing? Like, why do we have to think about this thing? But this is very important because so many students are in college and they might not be as successful as they want to be. And so I really wanted to explore this idea of learning to learn with you today.
I have a couple of theories about that. One about the importance of it and one about how to do it itself.
Perfect.
And like we talked about last time, the first one came from my father, who is an educator, is a computer science professor, who said that if you teach a man to fish, he'll not go hungry the rest of his life. But if you teach a man to learn how to fish, when the lake dries up, he'll become a hunter. And that's kind of about the importance of learning to learn, because skills don't last a lifetime, but the ability to acquire knowledge does.
Well said. And I think that's so true, especially today when everything seems to be changing at an even more rapid pace due to technology and everything else.
Yeah, and the funny thing is this theory is even more important when you're talking about technical college or people going to college specifically to get a certain job.
Sure.
So they would think that they should be even more directed on simply learning that skill. But again, especially in the modern world, these skills change. They become obsolete very quickly, and you need to continue to be able to learn to be successful. And for doing that, I have another thing, which I may or may not have made up. I made it up, but someone else may have made it up before, that I call the pyramid theory. When you are trying to achieve mastery of a skill or of anything, you look up and you see where you want to go, and you want to build kind of an edifice to get there. And it seems like you would want to build a tower, block upon block, directly to your goal. And while that's the quickest way, it's not a building that will stand. It's got a weak base. And the teacher's job then is to show you the adjacent things, the tertiary things, the things that eventually you will build upon all these blocks. So when you get to that skill or that piece of knowledge that you were looking for, you not only have that, but you understand where it sits in society, you understand the history of it, you understand the ethical ramifications of what you're trying to do. And with that, you are able to withstand the vagaries of life and be able to use that skill to acquire others.
Adam, you make an excellent case for liberal arts education.
Yes.
Because of the broad base of knowledge, understanding, and then building on that and getting even more specific, as you go along. And there's many students who will come in as a freshman in college and say, why do I have to take history? I'm a computer science major. Why do I have to take geography or whatever? Not realizing that it's the broad base of knowledge that will make them more skillful in the end, that will make them a better computer programmer, whatever skill they end up doing in the end. So you make an excellent case for the liberal arts education and the broad base of knowledge that we all have to build upon.
And I will say that as someone who did not manage a college education, this is what I see from the outside, and it's the thing that I have missed, and it's a thing I feel a dearth of in my life, is that broad base of education that people who have gone to college share, and allows them to pivot more easily, to have better understandings. I've had to go and search that out, which is very difficult in a working environment where you are encouraged, even when you're self-employed, I'm encouraged by myself to learn only what is needed to get the specific job done. And it leaves these gaping holes in your knowledge that you don't always notice until you trip over them. And it can be quite disastrous.
I tell my students, especially the freshmen, that when they have the time, it's really a luxury It's a luxury to have the time to sit in a college classroom with other students in your, from various backgrounds that are your same age, and just have that time to have conversations and debates and respectfully disagree and, and hear, oh, well, what does this person think about this topic and everything? It's such a luxury, and you don't really realize it until you don't have that like, wow, that would really come in handy later on.
That's not to downplay the stresses of college.
Right.
It's college freshmen. I've got 2 kids who were college freshmen, and it's the most stressed they've ever been. But it's still, you are in an environment that is solely concerned with education, and you will be in that for a very short amount of time compared to your lifetime. And when you're out in the job market, you're not afforded that anymore. And you do not have the chance to build that broad base of knowledge anymore. So you have the job stress plus the stress of realizing you're standing on a very thin cliff with nothing on either side, but trying to figure out what you do next.
Getting back to the learning how to learn, did your father have any nuggets of wisdom on how to go about the learning how to learn? Were there any broad steps that he recommended?
He was a computer scientist, and they were back then starting to do exclusively technical degrees. And he was talking about the need for liberal arts education.
Okay.
And that's how you learn how to learn. Is through the liberal arts, is through history and literature and the likes. It's a tough topic, like anything education based. Right. You have to lean on your teachers and trust your teachers to instill the steps within you.
I have several videos on learning styles, and I think that that's a good place to start.
It's an excellent place to start.
Recognizing that everybody has a different way that is more conducive for their particular style of learning. So, some of us are visual learners, some of us are auditory learners, some of us are kinesthetic or tactile learners. So I think that that's an excellent place to start with that.
I agree. That's a fairly new in the grand scheme of things, of looking at things, starting with the student and working out from there. Figure out the way you learn, and then learn the things the teacher are expecting you to learn. And figuring out when you don't mesh with a teacher's style of teaching, it can help to do that early so you can bounce around till you find people who are going to work the way you work.
I do have some professors tell me that things are changing so rapidly that by the time the student graduates, what they've learned I'm talking about computer programming, computer science type of degrees, that by the time they graduate, they're like, that's not even what they need to know anymore. So it becomes even more important to just to get good at learning how to learn, and also, and I'll cover this in another video, but learning how to fail and get back up and try again and everything, because that's a lot of what college is about and what life is about. Adam, do you have any last words of advice today?
Finish things even if you're failing them.
Oh, that's good. Finish what you start, right?
Yes.
Finish what you start. Thanks for joining us again. Please remember to hit like, subscribe, and remember to keep learning.